looked like he talking to his feet. Now, as a kid growing up, like my father and his side of the family, all from Philadelphia. So my childhood, the holidays, vacations, and all my summers all spent in Philly. Now, not to age myself, but I got my very first set of DJ equipment as a baby. I'm saying that so I don't age myself. I mean, I wasn't even a teenager yet. But when I first got turntables and hearing rap on the radio, and what you do is switch from DJ Red Alert on 98.7 KISS FM to 107.5 WBLS with Mr. Magic and Marley Marl. And you go back and forth between the shoe shows, whenever a commercial was on, like, oh, time to change the channel. But I must have had my DJ equipment for like a year. And then Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince came out. And I became the biggest DJ Jazzy Jeff fan in New York. Especially on one Friday night on the Rap Attack show, WBLS FM. You know, Mr. Magic had his trademark. This is a world premiere. A world premiere. And to this day, I haven't heard this song in years, but I remember the Fresh Prince's lines to this day. You know, at his line, here's a day that shouldn't be forgot about, the day my DJ turned into an Autobot. He got struck by lightning in an electrical storm and got on the wheels of steel and prepared to transform. And all you heard was, I was like, how the hell is he doing that with a record? I was like, what is it? I was hooked after that, you know. Every scratch I ever tried to do after that was some variation of the Transformer scratch. No more cutting, no more baby scratch. Like, no, everything had to be a Transformer scratch. And the next day, I went out and bought the Rock the House tape. Yes, it was a cassette tape back then. Well, my mother bought it. I don't know, you know, how's a baby going to leave the house with money and go to the store? Point is, I had the tape from that long ago. And no one even knows what a cassette tape is anymore. You know, so now I got to stop making fun of my brother, who actually gave me the turntables. But actually, when he was DJing, he was able to cut and scratch on 8 tracks. But that's another story. So anyway, so now I heard New York DJs on the radio. You know, I heard Red Alert, Chuck Chill Out, Marley Marl, Teddy Ted. But I had never seen a DJ actually DJing and scratching until there's a show in New York, Video Music Box, and they had the Jive RCA Artist Music Review with all the Jive RCA artists performing live. Kumo D, I think he closed the show. He had his hit How You Like Me Now and Go See the Doctor. But the hype about it is everyone was waiting to see Boogie Down Productions. That was the anticipation. It was their second album. You know, My Philosophy was, the video was, everybody was waiting to see that because My Philosophy was hot. The radio was playing Still Number One, Jimmy, Stop the Violence as well. But the reason that people were really checking, because not only was the first album, Criminal Minded, awesome, but Scott LaRock had just passed previously. So the people were saying, like, what are they going to do without Scott LaRock? And it wasn't Scott LaRock doing the music. And then it was like, it was rumors like, Scott LaRock finished the album, or he did most of the album. So everybody wanted to hear BDP's by all means necessary. I don't know why I'm getting tongue twisted. But Quiet as It's Kept that night, also on the bill was DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. And they started this show, they had the hip hop dances going for a while Jazzy Jeff was mixing the beat, and it was his birthday. And then they bring out the beatboxer, a guy named Reddy Roxy, who killed it doing the beatbox. He started doing Sanford and Son, then flipped it and did Sanford and Son Underwater. Then he did the Donkey Kong arcade game. But what Jazzy Jeff did, he actually paid tribute to the jive artists Houdini who weren't there at the time by cutting up their single Be Yourself, And he's backspinning, he's catching the beat, Grandmaster D, if you please, down, if you please, he's doing that. And then the Fresh Prince starts yelling out, faster. And he starts catching, if you please, And now, that's what I said. I had the records that's what I started working on. I was like, if Jazzy Jeff is catching if you, I was like, now I got to catch if, so I can be like Jazzy Jeff. But also during that show, he actually broke it down like if you please. So I was like, wow. That's all we practiced that little routine, And after that performance, I couldn't wait to do it at parties. But I would get on people's nerves whenever I played that song, because I have the records going for like 5 minutes and have yet to play the song. And the crowds would get pissed, you know. They're like, "Hey DJ, you mind playing the song, if you please?" It gets so bad, you know. I go to a party and start setting up the equipment, and the person paying me like, "Hey, why don't you come in the kitchen? I'm gonna give you part of the money up front," you know. I do that and then go back and setting up, and I'm playing records. And right when I want to play Houdini tonight, I find out 2 records are missing. Only those 2 Houdini songs, you know. Yeah, I'm heated. And the organizer, well, maybe you put the records in a different crate. I'm like, yeah, I'm a DJ. I know exactly what records are in what crate and in which order they're in. So I'm mad, you know. So the whole party, I'm packing up everything afterwards. Mad that someone stole my records. And then someone says, the owner's like, "Hey, I found your 2 records. They were in the bathroom." Like, how the records get in the bathroom? Plus, I'd already been in the bathroom twice during that night, so I ain't seen no records in the bathroom. And he said, "Well, did you look behind the toilet water tank?" Like, why the hell was search behind the toilet bowl tank to look for records? And 2, who would put records behind the toilet water tank? Then I realized people literally put those records there to hide them from me so I won't be able to mix, if you please. It's like a bunch of haters. And it's hard to forgive people who would do that to Houdini, but one love. You know. But even my mother would complain about the music, you know, back then, you know. "Will you turn that down? No one wants to hear that noise." I'm like, "But well, it's the transformer scratch." "Well, if you don't turn down the volume, I'm going to transform those turntables down to the curb." And you'd be mad, like, man, like, parents just don't understand. Now, here's what I didn't understand. I'm on YouTube, you know, I see Jazzy Jeff with this English interviewer who's asking Jeff, you know, he's paying homage to Jeff. He truthfully says, "We have this title here, and we want to know, is it self-proclaimed or is it official that you are the world's best hip-hop and R&B DJ?" And Jeff said, like, "Well, I never really looked at it like that. You know, I just enjoy what I do. You know, I leave that up to everybody else. It's not fair for me to say I'm the best DJ. Because like in sports, anyone can have a bad game." Yeah, says Tom Brady, who never had to face the New York Giants. Of course, my Philly cousins get mad. "And don't forget about the Pats having to face the Eagles." Yeah. Well, what happened when they faced him the first time? You finally beat him that he got old? Well, my cousins are big up to the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles. My Philly cousins. Now, I don't know what happened to Jeff that day. You know, I think maybe he ate a bad cheesesteak or something. But Jazzy Jeff is the world's greatest DJ because I think I might have just been spoiled because when the first person you ever see rock a party is Jazzy Jeff, everyone after that fails in comparison. You know, I'd go to the junior high school prom and the high school dances. It's like, these DJs suck. You know, that's like if you saw the very first time you saw a basketball ever being played was when Michael Jordan scored 55 on the Knicks, and then every other time you saw basketball, it was this year's Knicks. You know, that's no longer the same. You know, it's like you become spoiled by greatness. Now, I mean, it wasn't until years later that I seen DJ Scratch, a VPMD, you know, doing the Big Daddy Kane routine where he ducks under the tables and he rises up with the Jason mask and he's cutting up Friday the 13th. I'ma play Jason. Play Jason. I'ma play Jason. You know, killed it. Or when Video Music Box would actually start showing DJ competitions. And that's when they showed DJ Steve D of Clark Kent Supermen, you know, doing the first scene beat juggle ever. And he's, you know, Clark Kent's the Superman was with Scratch, Clark Kent, Steve D, and he's Superman. And Superman was a DC comic, but growing up, I was always a Marvel kid. So my group, the X-Men were my group. Those are the DJs I saw, you know. Now, when I say X-Men, I'm referring to the comic book age, you know. If there's new slang, as I mentioned in the first podcast, the new slang changing, I don't know if that, maybe that has some other meaning, but I'm talking about the comic books. I'm not talking about anyone who's going through transitional reassignment surgery. No, I'm talking about the X-Men comic books, which spawned one of the greatest DJ crews ever. Okay, now it's known as the Executioners due to copyright issues, but growing up, they were the X-Men. So I'm talking about the legendary Grandmaster DJ Rock Raider. It was nasty, you know. It's just, rest in peace to that brother, DJ Mr. Sinister. I remember in '96, I wanted to learn how to DJ. I wanted to actually see one of those DMC DJ competitions. So I actually bought the video for '96. I went to a store in the Bronx called Beat Street, which no longer exists. I guess they had to beat it. And I remember It came in a red and white VHS cassette box. That's how long ago it was. 1996 DMC US Finals, and Mr. Sinister came in second. Now, the guy who won, I think it was in Detroit, and the big thing that he did was he had a drum beat playing on one turntable, and on the other turntable, he had a record that just had tone sound effects on each record track. So he picked up the needle and dropped the needle on different tones to go along with the drum beat that was playing on the other record. Now, that was really dope, because no one ever seen anything like that before. I mean, keep in mind, this is before DJ software and Serato and Q points, where you just press the button, they had a line up, like, you got to be able to do this live. So, this is DJing with old-fashioned playing records. So this guy was really innovative. But Mr. Sinister, you know how some DJs are mixing and catching the beat, and they'll be fancy by grabbing the fader with the hand behind the back or grabbing the fader with the hand between the legs. Mr. Sinister did that. And you know how some people beat juggle. They beat juggle nowadays. Mr. Sinister did that. But Mr. Sinister started grabbing the fader behind his back, between his legs, and beat juggling at the same time. Nobody did that. And let me paraphrase, nobody does that. And then he broke it down to the basic beat juggle, And I'm like, that should have won it right there. As complicated as that is, still not done today. Yeah. And then there's the legendary Rob Swift. And I seen him on YouTube DJing on Funkmaster Flex's 5 minutes of funk video. And I was like, this guy is nasty on the 1 and 2. Stuff he's doing. And I was like, I remember that name. I was like, I can't picture him for nothing. But why do I remember that name? So I had let me just go on YouTube and look up his name. And then I saw an old clip of him from the 90s. Like, yo, that was that dude. That's the dude from the X-Men, But back then, the guy looked like mad young, and he was the X-Men, Back then, he was like tall, skinny dude, no facial hair and the afro, but had mad skills. You look at him now, it's like, was he drafted into the army? Like he started lifting weights or something, like people were trying to steal his turntables. Look at him now, he like Rambo with a Rick Ross beard. But in all seriousness, he's actually teaching people to DJ. He has this brolic army of his DJs, He's actually teaching a course at the new school, a course called Advanced Skills. So if anyone wants to learn how to DJ or be better and really dope at being a DJing, why not attend the class of a living legend and become legendary? Because once you learn from a legend and become legendary, you'll be about a fourth as good as Rob Swift is. No, but seriously, big shout out to Rob Swift. But every region had their own dope DJs. Like Cali had DJs back then. DJs Aladdin, Joe Cooley, up to the Battle Cats, the Qbert, the Bamboo. I mean, it goes on and on. But for me, growing up back then, and every time I went to Philly, I was like, wow, Philly's got the best DJs. Because not only they have Jazzy Jeff, you can go up to Miz, but you had Cash Money, who I actually finally seen DJ. Like after years, I had his tape. I actually bought, again, the cassette tape of Cash Money and Marvelous, because I like that song, Find an Ugly Woman. And I don't believe it, but I like the song. And they were on Sleeping Bag Records. Now, Sleeping Bag Records were funny because, the paper inserts that come in and you read it, you want to find the shout outs and what they got to say. Sleeping Bag inserts would have advertisements for other Sleeping Bag artists. You trying to learn about this artist, they trying to sell you on the other artists, That's called cross promotion. Like, no, that's called being thirsty. Sleeping Bag needs a thermos, But now, now I keep them like now. I like to be able to get back into DJing, but records are now obsolete. Now you have to get DJ software and a brand new computer that can have space to carry MP3s instead of records. And then you look at it, and then you find Jazzy Jeff has his own DJ controller, which is basically a mixer that has too many platters that are used as turntables. And this comes with DJ Jazzy Jeff pre-made scratches. Like, come on. How are you not the greatest if you got all this? And, as I say, for years, the Press Prince is always saying how DJ Jeff is the greatest DJ. So was the Prince lying? Was Will acting back then? Really? I know he's a great actor, but he was such a great actor. How come he didn't win for Ali? He should have won for Ali. But you know why he didn't win? Yeah, because he's black. Yeah, I know Denzel won that year for Training Day. What does that have to do with this argument? Yeah. But shout out to Will Smith. Shout out to Denzel Washington, Mount Vernon, that's like the Bronx, but with houses. These are just jokes, jokes, except the Jazzy Jeff part. You want to say you're not the greatest, okay, but there's only one DJ who's magnificent. That's right, the magnificent DJ Junebug of North Dakota. No, it's you, Jeff. But I better be mindful with the jokes. It's all love. But I remember, like I said, I spent my family a lot of time in Philly.